Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day and not having to deal with drama. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. And don't forget to listen to the end of the story, guys, to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. My ex, male 27, and I, female 24, broke up over a year ago. But we have a 2.5-year-old baby girl together, so we're still close and have a good relationship. Well, there's not much else to say. He's dating someone new, female 27. It was her birthday yesterday, and my ex invited our baby and me since it was in his backyard. He invited his family as well, so I was mostly chatting with them. My daughter was playing with her cousins and some other kids from his girlfriend's side of the family. It was quite okay, really. He was playing music, and the kids were dancing and playing. My daughter and one of her cousins came up to where we were sitting and asked us to dance too. I went to dance with them. Then my daughter called her father and we started dancing with her. We weren't at it for too much. We were dancing and so were the kids, other adults. But his girlfriend got pissed off and called the party off. She then personally attacked me, saying stuff like why I left him and I'm not over my ex, and that I'm an attention-seeking W, that she knew I'd act like that when her boyfriend told her I was coming. A lot of stuff. And it caused a family fight, too. Her and her family left, so it was just us. My ex and his family were quite upset. After his family left, my ex and I talked more calmly, and he said he was disappointed in his girlfriend's reaction. So, well, some people see it as I was looking for this kind of reaction when I went to the party, but I was not. I was invited, and I went. I think it's so important to have a close relationship with my daughter's father. What would be the alternative? Her having to see us fight all the time? But I don't know. Maybe I'm off. Well, first of all, I think it's weird OP was invited to her ex's new girlfriend's birthday party. I'm sure you can have a healthy co-parenting relationship without that. Healthy co-parenting also includes healthy boundaries. The girlfriend's birthday isn't an appropriate invite for the ex-girlfriend. If it was OP's daughter's birthday, then it's fair to play Switzerland and all get along. But it's not. Even if OP's ex was okay with it, it's clear he didn't care about his now ex-girlfriend's feelings, who probably didn't want OP at her birthday at all. And now let's see if the community agrees with me. Maynor Forever says, the father wanted his 2.5-year-old daughter at the party, and probably hopefully the girlfriend did too. But you obviously know that if the father's 2.5-year-old daughter is at the party, then he would have to basically watch her almost full time, and that would really seriously distract from his new girlfriend and her party, where she wants to be the center of attention. The two exes and the daughter are on really good terms and still care about each other and about properly co-parenting. If the new girlfriend can't stand the fact that he will have a child by another woman, and indeed the other woman in the picture for the next 15 or 16 years, then sounds like this is a very good way of showing that she's just not mature enough and can't handle her jealousy. Seems like a really good thing that happened now, and not after they get married and have other children or something. And then she tries to force her new husband not to ever interact with her ex, which would be horrible for their little girl. She sounds petty and vindictive, and I hope she's doubting the relationship at this point. Lynn Fakes says, let me get this correct. Your ex invited you and your daughter to his new girlfriend's birthday party instead of just inviting your daughter without actually consulting his girlfriend. He told her, didn't ask her, and you were all shocked at the fallout? Everyone sucks here for actually thinking it was in any way okay to do this. Witty Stock says, everyone sucks here. The ex should not have invited you to her birthday party. Without consulting her? Even worse. He's the biggest a-hole. His girlfriend overreacted, but it's her party, and she can cry if she wants to. You should have seen this coming, and the idea of any kind of dancing with the ex at his girlfriend's birthday party should have set alarms. Use better judgment. So, my younger brother, 26, is on some Andrew Tate BS. He is unmarried and has a few situationships, but isn't a parent, and I suspect his attitude is the reason why women don't stick around after a few dates with him. I am married and I have a 4-year-old daughter and 19-month-old son. I used to be a teacher, but since my husband has been making good money and we both agreed that I would stay home with our children, we've been functioning as a more traditional household. I am planning on going back to work once my son is in kindergarten, by the way. Also, I want to mention that my husband is not the problem here. He understands that as a stay-at-home mom, I don't get to clock out of work, and I need help. He is a loving father, great cook, and splits the chores with me 50-50. He loves being a parent and never complains. My brother, however, is a problem. He, my mom, and my sister came over a few days before Christmas, and my brother started making remarks to both me and my husband that he is glad that his sister is fulfilling her biological duty to be a homemaker, and more BS along that line of thought. My husband and I basically ignored it because I don't want to spend my holidays arguing. That being said, I won't ignore disrespect. I don't want my daughter to think it's okay to be talked down to, or my son to think it's okay to speak in a not nice manner towards women. So it came to a boiling point when I had to come back from Sephora with a new conditioner for my hair. My brother turned to my husband and said, "Are you really okay with her spending your money on crap like that when CVS has normal crap?" My husband just told him that I was doing unpaid work, and as long as we can afford it, he doesn't care where I buy my conditioner. This sent my brother off. He started yapping about how I didn't work and how taking care of children wasn't that hard. So I made a bet with him. I bet him that I would return the conditioner to Sephora if he could survive one day as me. Because he is a jerkwagon, he accepted the bet. The parameters of the bet went as so. I would show him my day-to-day duties as a stay-at-home mom. Then he would perform them. I would be watching him the whole day, but he couldn't ask me for help. I told my kiddos that their uncle would be spending the day with them, and if they needed anything, to ask their uncle for it. Of course, if they were to come to me for something, I would be there for them, but he would be taking over my role as the primary caregiver. He broke by 8:30 in the morning. He started making pancakes for my daughter, and then she started to throw a tantrum because they looked too much like Mickey Mouse. Then he noticed that my son had taken off his diaper, something that I am desperately trying to get him to stop doing, and dumped his poo-poo onto the floor. He muttered, "I am never having ducking kids," then stormed back upstairs to sleep until noon. While he didn't acknowledge the bed, he didn't say another ducking word to me about how being a stay-at-home mom was easy. So I will take that as a win. Inserting an edit to answer some questions and make some assertions. For those of you saying that my job isn't hard, no, my job isn't the hardest job ever, but it is time-consuming, a lot of manual labor, constant communication, and best of all, it doesn't end. I don't get to clock out. No parent does. My husband described what I do as having a demanding job with two micromanagers who give me conflicting assignments and sometimes crap their pants and scream. Maybe I'm just describing work in general. I had one commenter assert that my job isn't hard because stay-at-home moms don't account for most job-related deaths. That may be in part because some don't view what I do as a job. But furthermore, if people are dying on your worksite, change jobs. Jobs, contrary to popular belief, shouldn't literally send you to an early grave. It was obvious he wasn't going to make it the whole day, but it's low-key hilarious that he lasted that short of an amount of time. Also, moms can't give up. They need to keep going. That's what makes the job so much harder than every other job. You're always on call, and you can't clock off. Pixie Girly says, "Wow, he barely even started before giving up." Nalgren27 says, "It's all good. You can now remind him whenever you like that he was too much of a weakling to handle 2 children. How on earth can a woman want a man who isn't strong enough to do that? You can assure him it's fine to date, but the women he dates would probably just use him as a placeholder until they find a real man. By all means, throw some cute misogynistic words for a weak man in there. You know the ones. His head will explode." Next Shot says, "Awesome, but get ready in a day or two when he starts on how undisciplined your kids are and how he'd teach his kids not to behave like that. Probably start getting in little digs about how you're not a great mom. Hope I'm wrong and he has some introspection, but Tate bros aren't really known for their critical thinking skills or emotional development." I, 33 female, have a son who is 17. I'll call him John in case he sees this. John has been dating a lovely girl who I'll call Amanda for about 2 years. She has been nothing but kind towards my son and I treat her as my own. He is so in love with this girl. I thought they would get married one day. One morning I woke up to John and some girl that I didn't recognize walking out of his room. I didn't think anything of it at first. I thought maybe she was just one of his friends, because I always let him have people over. They walked into the kitchen, and I followed because I was hungry. But when I turned the corner, I saw them kissing. My heart instantly sank, and I felt sick. I started yelling at my son, saying things like, "How could you do this to your girlfriend?" and "This is not how I raised you," and I kicked the girl out of my house. After she left, I sent John back to his room and called Amanda immediately. I have her number because I told her if she ever needed anything, she could always come to me. I told her everything that I saw, and she started crying. She asked if she could come over to talk to John. I said of course, and we hung up. I was a teen mom, so I didn't have much experience with relationships. The one relationship I had was with John's father, and he cheated on me with another woman, and I didn't want Amanda to feel what I felt the day I found out. About 15 minutes later, Amanda arrived and was still crying. I told her John was in his room, and she walked towards it. I told her he was very mad, and I told her to come get me if anything went south. I'm writing this as they are talking, but all I can hear is screaming and sobbing. They've been in there for about an hour. I'll update when Amanda leaves, but my question right now was, am I the a-hole for telling Amanda and possibly ruining my relationship with my son? Well, I think OP is in the wrong for going to the girlfriend without speaking to her son first. OP should have given him the opportunity to do the right thing and come clean. I think a massive learning opportunity was missed because OP was triggered by her own experience. Also, OP's son is still very young. Of course, cheating is not good, but it's not his first and not his last girlfriend. AAAAACP says, not the a-hole. You are a great parent for not just excusing his behavior like some parents do, especially with their sons. He needs to learn to take accountability, and he wouldn't if you'd let him get away with it. And those girls deserve to know. You did right by them, and you're a great mom for doing that. He's just upset that he got caught in a lie, and that you're not enabling his behavior. Asparagus Overall says, it's really weird that you thought your 17-year-old son was going to marry his first girlfriend. That is just not a reasonable expectation, like at all. But teaching your kid that it's never okay to cheat on a partner is something he needs to learn now. But he should have been the one to tell her, not you. It's all BS says. Kinda. Your son is 17 years old. You really shouldn't expect his current dating partners are going to be his wife. He is young and making mistakes. That is how growing up works. You should have stayed out of this. Not lie, but not getting this involved. It was out of line. Your son and his girlfriend are not your friend group. You probably did damage your relationship with your son by being too involved in his dating life. It's fine to say you disagree with how he is moving, but your relationship with his girlfriend is a bit much. I, 42 male, and ex-wife Kim, 41 female, divorced when our daughter Sally, 16 female, was 8. We do alternate weeks with Sally. We both remarried, and I have a stepson Derek, 17, and Kim has a stepson Tom, 17. Sally and Tom go to the same school. Both Sally and I have good relationships with Derek. We've been in his life since he was 11. He is an exceptional young man, excellent grades, varsity sport, volunteer work, and just all around nice and kind. Derek was early accepted into his dream university with scholarship. We are all over the moon for him. Last week, Kim and I throw Sally a party at her place, celebrating Sally passing a higher level of her piano test. I took Derek with me. Wife traveled overseas. Everyone was happy for Sally and congratulated her. The atmosphere was relaxing, and everyone mingled and talked with anyone. I struck a conversation with a man my age. He was Kim's neighbor's new boyfriend. He's doing something else now, but was a college professor for 10 plus years. I told him about Derek's university, and he said he graduated from there. I then told Derek to join us so he could ask questions. We three had a great time talking, and other partygoers began to join us. They all loudly congratulated Derek on his school. Sally and her friends also joined us and joked that Derek can't forget about them when he makes it big in the world. I noticed Kim looking unhappy, and her husband and stepson were no longer around. I asked Sally to play us a song, which she happily did. The party then wrapped up and I took Derek home. Kim later called me and said I was an insensitive a-hole. When I asked her to explain, she said Sally must have mentioned that Tom was rejected from Derek's university, and Tom was hurt when people congratulated Derek on getting in. I told her Sally never said a thing. Kim then said I was still an a-hole for making the party all about Derek, that everyone leaving the party was talking about Derek and not about Sally. I told her that wasn't my intention. Am I the a-hole? BBQ Quail says, not the a-hole. You weren't bragging. You were just making use of the situation at hand. Getting to talk to a former professor of the college you are going to next academic year is a precious opportunity for Derek. I don't blame you for not letting the chance slip away. I also don't blame you for people wanting to join a fun conversation you three happen to supply. Sally even joined your group. If she's okay with it, what gives Kim the right to call you out for stealing the attention? Tom's inability to manage his jealousy is not your problem. He will be fine. Life will go on. Kim has no legs to stand on in pinning Tom's being upset on you or Derek. Ahurazo says, not the a-hole. You genuinely didn't know that Tom applied and was rejected from that school. Kim is clearly projecting about making the party all about Derek, when even Sally was congratulating Derek and teasing him about making it big in the world. Sushi Guac DNA says, not the a-hole. It sounds like Kim expects you to read minds. No wonder you were divorced. I mean, you didn't even know that Tom was rejected, and yet you were expected not to congratulate Derek? That makes no sense. I get that Tom is having a hard time. If you had known that he was rejected, it would have been nice to focus on him for a bit. Maybe on something he does well or cares about. But even then, I don't think it makes sense to disallow congratulating Derek. And yet you didn't know, which makes your ex-wife's complaint just silly. Since she knew, she could have stepped in with the kind of support that I described.